Welcome back, traders, to my market outlook on index futures for the week of September 7th. So this is the daily chart for ES. Last week, I was feeling bearish. I was looking for sell-side liquidity below these relative equal lows to get taken. You can see that we had a pretty big drop. We went really close, but we ultimately failed to take these sell-side liquidity. And instead, we rallied back up and made a new all-time high. Now, it's important to note that we do still have SMTs here on the highs. ES made a new all-time high, but Nasdaq did not. So it's still going to be okay for us to have a bearish bias. In fact, I still have a bearish bias because last week was NFP week, so it's a little weird. I'm not going to pay all too much attention to like the bullish run there. I'm not going to think like, oh, my bias is wrong, we're going to the upside. However, we did come back down and tap into this inversion, but since it's kind of reclaimed again, I really want to pay attention to this going into this week to see if we can close below this fair value gap. And if so, then the sell side liquidity down here is again in my sights. And I think we have an even higher buildup of liquidity now that we have this failed drop right here. All right, and just taking a quick look at the 1 hour chart, you can see that even though we made a new all-time high, shortly after we had a pretty big drop. So this kind of indicates to me that this was just a sweep of the buy side liquidity and we may be going lower as our long-term objective. So I want to pay attention on the hourly on this fair value gap, this SIBI, to see if we can get the sell side liquidity below these equal lows and ultimately come down for the sell side liquidity down here. All right, so moving on to Nasdaq on the daily chart. Last week, I was aiming for the sell side liquidity below this low. And as you can see, we actually got it. We actually poked just below the sell side liquidity down here before rallying up to take out last week's high. But you can see it's not a new all-time high. So we do have SMT divergence on the highs. Friday, as you can see, big wicks on the upside and the downside, very indecisive, but it did take out the buy side liquidity down here. And we definitely need to go down into a lower time frame in order to kind of get a better idea of what it's going to do. But we're still kind of working our way in this daily SIBI, and we're kind of working our way in this daily BISI as well. So I want to see some decision here. Are we going to close above these fair value gaps, or are we going to close below these fair value gaps? My favor ideally is that we maintain this SMT divergence on the high. That's going to give us a little bit more confirmation on the direction of our trades. I think if we do have this SMT intact, we can aim for these relative equal lows, even though this did poke below it. These are still relatively equal, so we do have a little bit of pool of liquidity. And of course, I do like the sell side liquidity below this low, which is right above a weekly fair value gap. So that's pretty much going to do it for this week. I'm going to go ahead and leave the lower time frames for you to discover on your own. I am overall bearish this week. However, we do need to make sure that we verify the bias by confirming that premium arrays are being respected and that discount arrays are being broken. If that is the case, then the bias could be correct. Otherwise, we could be wrong on our bias, but we just gotta keep an eye out and make sure those lower time frame PD arrays are aligning with our higher time frame idea. But I hope you enjoyed. I hope you got something out of this. Anyways, please give this video a like and subscribe for more analysis like this. And until I see you guys next time, safe trading.